Hello, welcome to the August 2010 video edition of the Iowa General Fund Monthly Revenue Memo. My name is Jeff Robinson, Senior Fiscal Analyst for the Iowa Legislative Services Agency, the nonpartisan support agency of the Iowa Legislature. This video presents information covering the first 2 months of cash fiscal year 2010. July 31st, 2010 fell on a weekend this year, pushing a significant amount of deposits from July into August. So I will skip the discussion of a single month of August and talk instead about the trend over the first 2 months of this new fiscal year. Through August 31st, net general fund receipts were down $11.8 million, or 1.2% below the same months last year. However, a significant change was made beginning July 1st that has delayed the flow of revenue from racing and gaming receipts into the general fund. In prior years, the general fund received the first $66 million in racing and gaming receipts each fiscal year. Under the changes enacted, the general fund will not receive the revenue until mid-October. This fact is obscuring the real revenue growth rate, and it will continue to do so until January or later. Through the end of August, this change has reduced general fund revenue by $33 million. This table presents an adjusted growth rate calculation with the negative $11.8 million shown in the actual numbers more than offset by the delayed $33 million in gambling revenue. This math produces an adjusted growth rate of positive 2.2%, a nice improvement over the negative 1.2% shown by the current revenue numbers. Recent months have shown revenue improvements compared to the trend experienced through February and into March of 2010. Over the most recent 5 months, April through August, the general fund has received $2.52 billion. Note that the number includes the $33 million gambling adjustment I just discussed. The $2.52 billion is 1% better than the same 5 months the prior year, a welcome trend compared to the path of revenue experienced through March. However, while the trend is positive, the tax revenue level is still well below what could be considered normal. Adding the revenue generated over the months of April and August for the previous 3 fiscal years to this table, the 2010 amount is 9% below the period for the 2 years ago, 4.6% below the 3 years ago, and only 3.4% higher than the revenue level 4 years ago. So while revenue growth is good, the actual level of revenue is poor. This chart provides the 12-month moving total of net general fund revenue excluding transfer revenue. The chart's line emphasizes the point that although the revenue negatives have stopped, and in fact some growth has returned, the absolute level of net revenue is well below the former peak, and the fall from the peak has been much more pronounced than the recession of the early 2000s. This chart provides information covering net receipts by month over the most recent 12 months. Revenue increase months are colored in blue, decrease months are red. While net receipts have increased in only 3 of the past 6 months, adjustments for the gambling revenue issue would produce gains in July and August, both, so the recent situation is much more positive than the graph would indicate. The combination of net personal income tax and net sales and use tax proceeds provides 80 to 85% of the net revenue collected for the general fund in a year, and both of those items were strong in August. Personal income tax receipts were up 8% in August, the 4th increase in the past 6 months. Sales and use tax receipts were up 6.1% for the month, enhanced by the July 31st calendar issue. Without the July 31st issue, both July and August would have been positive, and sales and use tax receipts would show growth in 5 of the past 6 months. In summary, the first 2 months of cash fiscal year 2011 appear slightly negative, but this is due entirely to a deposit change that will correct itself later in the fiscal year. Net revenues over the 2 months, once adjusted, are mildly positive, and this is a significant improvement from previous trends. However, the level of general fund revenue still remains deeply depressed. I appreciate your interest in Iowa General Fund revenue. Goodbye, and I hope you will check us out next month in early October. For that video, I will have final numbers for fiscal year 2010, a year that will end quite a bit above official projections.